so just a quick reminder, so pillow from your bed, cushion from your sofa, a blanket that's kind of been folded up, and 2 yoga blocks or a hardback book and a block. So we're going to start in a kind of supported Shavasana. So if you just want to take your block and then just put a pillow over it, and then just pop your legs over that. So that's going to come just for the crease of your knees are, and then you're just going to bring a pillow and just lie on the pillow. So you might need to adjust yourself just to get comfortable. So just let those legs lie over the long pillow. Put your cushion from your sofa just under your head. And unlike our Shavasana at the end of practice, this is going to be quite an open Shavasana. So we're just going to bring our hands nice and wide above our head and just nestle your shoulder blades just down your back. And just let your body be present, let your body be open. And if you feel that your lower back is raised slightly, just move the pillow and the block just further down your legs. You really want to have your hips nice and sinking into the mat here, shoulder blades into the mat. And even though we can't hear each other, just as a group, we're just all going to take a nice big deep inhale, filling up our lungs, that space in our torso, and then exhale a sigh. And as we sigh, just imagine your body just like ice melting into the mat. And if you want to just take another couple of those deep, deep inhales, just filling our lungs to their fullest capacity, even sipping in more air right at the top of the breath, and deep exhaling to release it, just so you really are present on your mat this evening, you're welcome to. It is your breath, and it's up to you what you wish to do with your breath. And for those who maybe haven't done yin before, yin is just a practice of yoga where we really slow things down. It's an ideal practice to do at the end of a weekend, to do maybe close to whenever we're going to bed, as it really starts to quiet down the body. We will be holding postures for slightly longer. And by holding those postures, we're just stretching deep into our fascia in our body, so into those ligaments, all those tightness that we might be experiencing. And yin shouldn't be taken lightly. We talk about in yin about going to our edge. So when you come into a posture in yin, you want to think about going to your edge, so going to where you can just feel it. And then we commit to holding in that posture, and then we find our stillness in that posture. Keeping that nice long breath with you throughout the class, so we can send that breath to wherever we're feeling it in the posture or pose. It's important to understand in yin that there's a difference between pain and discomfort. So if anything comes up for you that is painful, you must back out of it. But there will be elements of discomfort, where we're maybe stretching deeply into maybe our hips or our shoulders, but ensuring that we're breathing into wherever those sensations are coming up for us. We're simply bringing attention to areas that maybe haven't had as much love as other areas in the body. But by bringing the attention to them, we're allowing them to open and thus allowing them to soften. Just taking another couple of deep, nourishing breaths in this starting pose. Just maybe thinking to yourself, what do you want to achieve from this practice? Do you want an elevated level of relaxation? Do you want to find openness in your body? Or do you just want to simply close the weekend by giving some time for yourself? It's important that whatever you're doing on your mat tonight is just for you. And if you did reach your hands overhead, we're just going to bring our hand, just one hand, our right hand on our belly and our left hand just up on our heart. And just taking another couple of rounds of breath here and just breathing into both hands. So you're really expanding out, sending the breath right from our shoulders all the way down to our hips. Breathing with our belly and breathing with our chest. And then together, we're just going to take another inhale, deep, deep, deep. Fill up your lungs right to their capacity. And then maybe sip in more air right at the top. And then exhale out a sigh. Making sure that breath serves you the whole way through your practice. And just keeping your eyes closed, your gaze soft, you're just going to move that pillow from underneath your head and pick up your feet. And you can even just slide your block and your pillow over to the side and placing your feet onto the mat. And just bringing both your knees into your chest and just making some small circles just on your lower back there. And then just changing directions, just nice massage into our lower back. And then bringing your feet onto the mat, you're going to pick up your right leg and just place your right ankle just above your right knee. So your legs are coming into a figure 4 shape here. And keeping that foot planted just for now and just focusing on that right knee, just moving towards the front of the mat so you're opening into that right hip. And as I just spoke about, in yin we find our edge. So if you're in this position now and you think, my hip is stretching enough, I can feel an opening, you stay here. If you think that you can go deeper into this pose, just picking up that left knee and hugging that left knee in towards your chest. And again, focusing on that right knee coming forward, left knee coming in towards your chest. And just bringing that left knee in just so you can find that opening in the hip. Committing to feeling that feeling and then holding it in this posture. And I just want you to bring some attention just quickly to some of the other areas of your body while you hold this posture. Is your forehead starting to scrunch up? Can you relax anything in your face? Unclench your teeth. Let your cheeks sink down the side of your face. Even thinking about the back of the throat. Just releasing that. Letting those shoulders drop heavy into the mat. Keeping those nice long breaths with you. And if there are any sensations coming up in your hip, just visualizing those sensations as your body reacting. It's your body talking to you, telling you where it is feeling this. And your breath is just quieting those sensations. Just taking one more deep inhale here. And then exhale, slowly releasing your hands if you grabbed behind your thighs and letting that left foot slowly drift back down towards the mat. And just staying here for a second. second, still with that cross. And then slowly uncrossing that right leg and bringing it down to the mat. And then picking up your left leg, this time left ankle just above that right knee, and let that left knee drop towards the front of the mat. And just seeing how this feels. Is your left hip feeling okay? Do you think you can go any deeper? Do you think your edge is still not quite there? And if so, just picking up that right knee. Letting that right knee drift towards your chest, and if you want, just grabbing behind your right thigh. Again, just doing that quick scan of the face, of the neck, of the throat, of the shoulders. You're welcome to do this scan in any pose that we go into, just to make sure that your body is fully melting into the mat. And in yin, when we hold a pose, we go through the levels of sensation. So at the start of the pose, there might be a high level of sensation, then as we hold it, it drifts off. And if so, you're welcome to just bring yourself back to that increased level of sensation. Taking one more deep breath here. And as you slowly come out of the pose, just embracing those feelings as you come out of the pose. It's a feeling of relief, but also can be quite a challenging feeling. It's just bringing that foot down to the mat, keeping the cross in your legs. And then slowly uncrossing that left leg. And then you're just going to roll just over to the side into the fetal position just for a breath. We've been lying for a while, so you don't want to rush the body up. And then slowly pressing in the ground, coming up to a comfortable seated position. And then just grabbing your pillow and your block or your book. We're going to come into diamond pose. So the soles of your feet are going to come together. And your block is going to come to rest. So one edge of the block is going to be on your mat and the other edge of the block is going to be on your heels. You're then going to bring the pillow and just set it across the block. And then we're going to come to lie onto the pillow. Now if you come down and you're not feeling at your edge, simply bring your feet slightly closer. But you must have your head on the pillow, and if that means your feet are very far away, that's just where your body's feeling today. So just sitting up nice and tall, let those shoulders roll away from the ears. Just take an inhale here and then exhale, folding over your feet. Just bringing your forehead down to the pillow, and like I said, if you need to bring your feet in or move them further away, just so you can comfortably hold this posture, you're welcome to do that. Imagining your knees opening out to the side, just like the pages of a book. And if you have any sensations with your ankle bones here, you're welcome to bring your blanket just underneath your feet. If you're maybe practicing on a harder floor. And we're still working into those hips. But we're working them both together this time, so often one might feel tighter than the other, and we come into poses like this where we're working them together. You might find the sensations heightened in one than the other, but just honouring again those sensations. And if anything comes up for you, just not let any attachment to it. Your exhales are there to release any discomfort, but they're also there to release anything that comes up. As I said at the start, this practice is for you, it's not for anybody or anything else. Keep breathing into your hips, into the inner seams of your legs. Taking one more breath here, and then exhale, slowly bringing yourself up and even stopping halfway to see how that feels. And slowly bringing yourself up. When you get to the top, just rolling your shoulders a couple of times. And then we're just going to move our props away from our legs. And then just coming back to lean further back and just grabbing the edges of your knees just to bring them back together. And then we're going to come to lie on our front and just bring your block the long ways up to the very top of your mat. And then just come into lie on your tummy. And then just bringing your face directly down to the mat, and your block should literally be touching the top of your head. So once you have that alignment, you're going to set one elbow right to the edge of the block and then the other elbow onto the edge of the block. And then if this feels comfortable for your shoulders, just bringing your palms together to touch in the middle. And then you're going to bring your forehead down to the block. So we're opening our shoulders here, and if you need to just shimmy your body back a little bit so you can feel that stretch in your shoulders, you can. And if that feels comfortable, you can just let your thumbs drop to in between your shoulder blades. So we're getting a nice stretch from our shoulders all the way up to our triceps. And keeping our belly nice and soft here as it grinds into the mat. And with every inhale and exhale, feeling your lungs expand out and just increasing that stretch along the sides of your body and along the sides of your waist. Making sure you're not holding on to anything in your body. We are being fully supported in this pose. And just keeping that stillness with you. Really sinking into the mat. Let your body be really heavy. Taking one more inhale here. And then exhale. If you bent your arms, just re-straightening them. Opening your hands, lifting your gaze, and then just bringing your hands just out to the side so they're a nice cactus shape, and then just bringing your forehead down to the mat. Feeling a nice opening all in your shoulders and your triceps. And then lifting your gaze, you're just going to bring your mat, bring your block just over to the right hand side, and you're going to pick up your knee and have your knee at a nice right angle to your body. So your knee's coming directly out from your hip, and then your knee is bent down, and you can have your foot flex or relax, whatever's comfortable for you. And if this is a nice opening for your right hip, you can stay here, or just to increase it, just pick up your knee and set your block under your hip. Pick up your knee and set the block under your right knee. And then resettling down onto the mat. And if you want, you can bring a pillow or a cushion just underneath your head if that's comfortable, or just stack your hands. Visualizing that right hip just sinking down to the mat. It's not making contact with the mat, but that idea of it floating down. Now, if you're not feeling any sensations in this pose, you're welcome to increase your block or add another block or a blanket, just so that you're raising your knee off the ground. It's important to come into these poses so you can feel their benefit. I'm trying to get the whole inside edge of your right foot onto the ground, so that all that edge along your big toe, I'm trying to keep that planted on the ground. If at any point you are holding it and you feel like you have gone too far, remember there's always those steps before the posture. So if you're in this now and your hip is shouting at you, you're welcome to remove the block. Sending every inhale down to the inner seam of your right leg, and every exhale, breathing out the tension that you're relieving there. And just bringing some awareness to your left leg. Are you holding on to anything? Can you release maybe your glutes or your calves on your left side? Often when we open somewhere in the body, somewhere else tends to tense. Taking one more nourishing inhale here. And then exhaling out the mouth. And just slowly picking up your gaze, and if you did have the block, just sliding your knee off it and bringing it back down to the earth just for a breath or two, before then sliding your foot back down the mat. And then just picking up your left knee, so your left knee is in line with your left hip and your foot is at a right angle. And again, just seeing how it feels. Remember, no side is the same, so this side might be slightly tighter. And just honouring that there's no differences in the sides. And if you do wish to go deeper, just sliding that block or book underneath that left knee, and then just resettling back down onto the mat. And just trying to make sure that your hips are as square to the ground as they can be. So imagining that left hip, even though it's raised, if it's on your block, melting into the ground. I know a lot of people benefit from visualizations. Just imagining there's a weight on your left hip here, or someone's walking their hands along your left hip. And again, if you've come too far in this pose, if you're doing the same level of depth that you did in the right hand side and it doesn't feel good, you're welcome to come out. It's important to respect our body and respect that there isn't the balance. And keeping that big toe edge of the left foot on the mat. Releasing any cleansing anywhere else in the body. And using that breath to release anything that's coming up for you. Using the breath to cleanse that area. Remembering that deep sighs are always there for you. Taking another inhale here. Exhale to slowly come out. So it's important that when we're coming out of poses and yin, we do take our time. So if your knee's on a block, just removing the block and just let your knee resettle on the ground just for a moment or two. And then bringing both legs to the back of the mat. And if you want to lie down, even shimmy your hips out either side. You can do that. Then we're going to roll over, so we're lying on our left hand side. So our right hip is going to be stacked on top of our left hip. And we're going to bring our left temple down towards the block or the book. And our left hand is going to come out to the side, the palm is going to spin up. And then if you want, you can grab your pillow or your blanket and your right hand is going to come out to the right hand side and spin up. So we're really opening to the chest here. And just seeing how that feels in your right shoulder. So we're twisting through our upper back. And if you want to increase the stretch, you can pick up your right foot and place your right foot directly behind your left knee. So your right knee is pointing towards the sky. Just coming into twist variation here. So if you've bent the knee, we're getting a little bit into our right hip. And then we're opening all along our right shoulder. So I encourage you to bring a pillow under your right arm or a block on the cushion, just so the ground is coming up. We don't want that arm floating. We want it to be supported while still feeling the stretch. And then finding that edge and just melting into it. Letting that right shoulder melt down towards the mat. And if you do have your right knee bent, try not to let your right knee drop to the left. We want to keep it as upward as we can. Think about that hip tucking under. Releasing any tension. Feeling those levels of the posture as you slowly start to open up. Maybe starting to feel a stretch into your neck. Letting your body fall into how it's feeling. And then on your next exhale, if you bend your knee, just bringing it back to stack on top, and then bending your right arm to bring it across your chest, just closing in that posture. And this time rolling over to our right hand side, so bringing that pillow or the cushion out towards the left. No, bring right over onto it, yeah, over to the left. And then we're going to roll over onto our right hand side, stacking our hips and letting both arms fall out to the side. Our palms are going to spin up, melting that left shoulder into the mat. And again, if you want, just bend that top knee, so your left knee, and then just planting your foot just behind your right knee and keeping, don't let that left knee fall to the right, keeping it upright. Taking one deep inhale here, and then exhale, just imagining that heavy weight on your body as you sink down to the mat. Opening through our left chest, our left shoulder, all along the left hand side of our neck. And if you have that leg bent, opening into our hip as well. Just surrendering your body down to the earth. Exploring those sensations that are coming up. Just letting your body be in this pose. Staying for another couple of breaths, really melting down into the mat. And then with your next exhale, slowly coming out. So if you bend that knee, just stacking that knee back up. Then bringing our left arm, tucking it in towards our chest. And then we're just going to slowly roll up. So we're in a nice, comfortable seated position. Again, take your time. Alright, we're going to use pretty much all our props now. So if you have two books and one of them is slightly deeper than the other, you're going to place that one down closest to you. And then with the slightly less deep, I suppose, one, you're going to place that further away. So they're just stacked one on top of the other. You're going to bring just your sofa cushion and place that on the top one. And then you're going to bring your pillow and lay that across. And I just advise that you have just your folded up blanket just handy as you might need it. So we're going to come into a reclined hero pose here. So to start this pose, you're going to basically come to sit on the ground so that your bum is literally resting against that lowest, or that block, sorry, that's closest to you. So your legs are out in the side, you're sitting down your honkers, and your heels are just either side of your bum. So you're going to create a nice space. Now if you come to sit here and this is enough for you, that's fine. You can bring a block and the blanket just underneath your bum and you can sit up here. I'm going to cue reclined hero pose here. So you're just going to slowly start to lower yourself down onto your supports. And if you want, if the blanket's there and it feels quite far away from your neck, you can just bring the blanket underneath your head. And often with this pose, it's the getting into it that people struggle with. Once they're in the pose, then they're fine. So if you get into it, you do need to move your feet out a little bit. That's okay. And if you have any sensations in your knees, I just advise you come out of this posture and you just sit in a raised up hero pose. So just sit just on your knees with a blanket and a block underneath your feet. Let's opening up our hip flexors and our quads here. So this can be quite an intense pose. But by softening our gaze and turning our intention inwards and breathing deeply, we can just hold it. And if you want, you can have your hands splayed to the side, or something that's quite nice to do is just place the palm of your hands on the heel of each foot. And you can even just give the heel of your foot a little massage. So often in yoga, our feet are planted and our arms are reaching far away from them. They are the two extremes, our hands and our feet, our grounding and our reaching. So it's quite nice just to bring them together, to nourish each other. Again, you're welcome to take any sighs or deep exhales just to release that deep stretch in your quads and into your hip flexors. If any of you are runners, I apologize. But know that what you're doing is for your body's benefit. These sensations are your body talking to you and telling you how it's feeling. Again, releasing any tension, so if your glutes are squeezing or your calf muscles are squeezing, just letting go. Letting your belly be nice and soft here. Start class, we were in Shavasana, we focused on releasing every muscle in our face and our throat and our neck, so keeping that softness with you. Just staying for another couple of breaths here, so make each inhale and exhale count. Showing that every breath you take is what your body needs, so sending it where it's needed. And then on your next exhale, if you've held on to your heels, just undo the clasp and just set your hands onto the mat. We're just going to slowly come up in stages. So if you're completely flat down, just pushing your hands in and just bringing your chin up a little bit. And then with your forearms, pushing yourself up so you're still slightly reclined. Taking a couple of breaths here. And then pushing yourself all the way forward. And we're just going to come forward just so we're on all fours. So we can untuck our toes and just bring our feet in between our hips. And just give our ankles a little circle. And then just keeping your props as they are. You're just going to come to sit. This time our legs are going to be in front. And we're just going to bring the soles of our feet together. Now we're going to come into a nice recline here. So we're going to go from this pose into our Shavasana. So if you want to stay in this pose and do your Shavasana in this pose with straight legs, you're welcome to do so. So it's your practice, you can do whatever you like. So keeping your props as they are, that block should be nice and close to the base of your spine. You're just going to come to recline onto your props. This time we're going to let our chest open out to the side, so hands out to the side, palms are going to spin up, and then your knees are going to open out just like the pages of a book. So finding our edge in this posture. So we were in diamond shape before where our feet were quite far away. So I encourage you just to scoot your feet slightly closer into your body. Making sure your shoulder blades are down your back. Letting your neck be long. And surrendering down to the mat. Keeping your hips nice and grounded. And even if you think you are as relaxed as you possibly could be, just taking your next exhale, just imagining that your body's melting. Not letting any tension in your body hold you back. If you haven't already, I just encourage you to close your eyes or soften your gaze. And just any thoughts that come into your mind, just letting them escape through the top of your head. Just focus on you. There's a lot of external chatter in the world, but it doesn't need to come into your space. Taking one more deep inhale here, sending it right into the inner seams of your hips. And then on your exhale, just bringing your hands just the outside of your knees, and just like you're closing your book, just like we're closing our practice, just slowly bringing your knees together. And if you wish to stay for Shavasana, you can just straighten out your legs and keep your back in this nice reclined position, bringing your hands out to the side. Or you can completely remove your props and just come to lie on the mat. I like to use the analogy of our body during yoga is like a piece of paper, and we constantly fold it and reopen it and create these creases in this bit of paper. And Shavasana is that moment where we just open up that bit of paper and just let it lie back down. Just doing that quick scan right from the crown of your head all the way down to your toes. Releasing anything off. And just letting your breathing return to normal. And just taking a couple of moments here of stillness. Melting into the mat.